Power Rangers Operation Overdrive is the 15th season and anniversary of the American television franchise Power Rangers. It uses footage and other material from the Super Sentai series GoGo Sentai Boukenger, which was also the 30th entry and anniversary of that franchise. It premiered on February 26, 2007. Operation Overdrive is broadcast on Toon, Disney's Jetix programming block, and ABC Kids in the United States, and on standalone Jetix networks in other countries. The program is a co-production between the Walt Disney Company and Toei. It was also broadcast on terrestrial network ITV in the UK. Unique among Power Ranger series, Operation Overdrive has the Rangers exploring, operating and fighting in many different countries around the world, rather than focusing only on their home city of San Angeles. In search of their objective, the Rangers have been to Atlantis, unnamed islands in the Atlantic and Pacific, St. Lucia, Istanbul, London, Portugal, Indonesia, Norway, Mexico, Egypt, Florida, Greece and Japan. To specifically battle villainous attacks, they have visited Rotuma Island, Australia, Brazil, and Stonehenge. Pre-production, the early working title for the series was Power Rangers Drive Force, but was later changed to Relic Hunters, and then Operation Overdrive. In early pre-production, on July 26, 2006, the series logo was posted on a fan message board called FUA + Arrow board. This same logo was later featured on the Disney website, rangersecrets.com, as part of the preview for the series. The logo is very similar to that of the parent series Boukenger in the basic design and format. On November 14, 2006, Disney had set up its official website for Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. Synopsis: 5 brave, skilled, and adventurous young people are chosen to search for several magical jewels that were long ago taken from the Corona Aurora, so as to prevent them from coming into the possession of Malta and Furious, who are brothers connected to ice and fire, banished long ago by the Corona's guardian for having attempted to steal it. When the billionaire explorer Andrew Hartford discovered the Corona Aurora, they escaped their exile and rallied their allies. In response, Andrew Hartford selected the talented youths and modified their DNA so as to grant them exceptional physical powers by which to combat the evil. Although Malta and Furious initially attempted to work together, they soon became rivals. The Corona Aurora fell into Malta's hands. Yet without its jewels, it could not grant the only universal power. Later, the evil warriors Camdor and Miratrix began hunting for the jewels, as did the extraterrestrial Farcats. Now the Rangers, joined by a Mercurian named Tyson who joined their ranks as the Mercury Ranger, are forced to fight multiple villains and travel worldwide in the effort to capture the jewels before their enemies can. In order to accomplish this purpose, the members of Operation Overdrive are equipped with futuristic technology similar to that featured in previous Power Ranger continuities, which improves in sophistication and power with successive episodes. Each time a new Ranger, new weapon, or new reason for battle is introduced, that Ranger, weapon, or reason produces the decimation of one major enemy or a host of foot soldiers. Thereafter the odds resume their former state. The physical powers granted by genetic modification are seldom used, seen, or mentioned, except when one or more Rangers is rescued by their use. Throughout the series, legends are included or invented to give a feeling of antiquity. These include Thor's hammer, Atlantis, and Poseidon, who is mentioned under the Roman name Neptune. Cast: Overdrive Rangers, James McClurkin as Mackenzie Mac Hartford, the Red Overdrive Ranger and team leader. Caitlin Murphy as Veronica Ronnie Robinson, the Yellow Overdrive Ranger. Samuel Benter as William Wollaston, the Black Overdrive Ranger. Rhoda Montemare as Rose Ortiz, the Pink Overdrive Ranger. Gareth Yuen as Dax Lowe, the Blue Overdrive Ranger. Dwayne Cameron as Tyson, the Mercury Ranger. Allies: Rod Lucia as Andrew Hartford, the Ranger's mentor and Mac's father, David Weatherly as Spencer, Nick Sampson as the voice of the Sentinel Knight, Beth Allen as Vela, veteran Rangers, Johnny Young Bosch as Adam Park, the second Black Ranger, and previously the Black Ninja Ranger, Zeo Ranger 4, Green and the first Green Turbo Ranger. Sally Martin as Tori Hansen, the Blue Wind Ranger. Emma Lahana as Kira Ford, the Yellow Dino Thunder Ranger. Matt Austin as Bridge Carson, the 3rd SPD Red Ranger. Following a promotion at SPD, Richard Brancatisano as Xanderbly, the Green Mystic Force Ranger. Villains: Kelson Henderson as Norgan, the voice of Mig, David Weatherly as the voice of Binglo, Gerald Urquhart as Flurious, Rhea Van Dervis as Myratrix, Mark Ferguson as the voice of Malta, Adam Gardner as the voice of Camdor, James Galen as the voice of Cheetah, Laurie Dungy as the voice of Kraza, Glenn Levy as the voice of Thrax. Artifacts: both the Rangers and villains travel the world in search of the Corona Jewels. To aid them, they must uncover special relics that serve as clues that lead to the lost jewels. Corona Aurora: the Corona Aurora is a crown, resembling that worn in medieval Europe, but claimed to be of divine origin. It is also commonly called the Crown of the Gods. To prevent its capture by those of negative interest, the Sentinel Knight scattered the crown's jewels across Earth. At the opening of the film series, the crown was in Andrew's possession, from which was stolen by Malta. Following the destruction of Malta's lair, ownership of the crown passed to Flurious, who then added one jewel to it. After stealing the remaining 4 jewels from the Rangers, Flurious completed the Corona Aurora. Flurious used its power to battle the Rangers, but was destroyed by Mac. The Sentinel Knight, now fully restored to his original physical form, later appeared with the Corona and used it to revive Mac and transform him into a human. Neptune's Cocoon: this was found sealed within an altar in an Atlantean temple deep in the ocean. The Rangers opened the Cocoon, believing it to contain one of the gems belonging to the Corona Aurora, finding instead one of the Scrolls of Neptune. Scrolls of Neptune: the first of these 3 scrolls was inside the Cocoon of Neptune. Rose solved its puzzle by making a picture of the Sword of Neptune. When the Rangers assembled correctly all 3 scrolls, the scrolls transformed into the sword. Sword of Neptune: when the 3 Neptune scrolls were laid end to end, they became a blade called the Sword of Neptune. It was initially missing a jewel from its hilt. Upon its formation, it flew out of Rose's hands and pierced the island of St. Lucia on a map, pointing the Rangers to the location of the pearl that fit its hilt. The pearl had been a lucky charm for the ghost Brownbeard until he, wishing to repay the Rangers for the gift to him of a gem called the Eye of the Sea, gave it to Rose. Eye of the Sea, jewel discovered on the island of St. Lucia. Believed to be the first jewel of the Corona Aurora, but was proven not to be. The Rangers traded it to Brownbeard for his lucky pearl. Dragon Scale: the scale of the dragon fire heart purchased by Andrew Hartford from Toby Slambrook to empower the Defender vest. Hu Bird: a golden statue of a Japanese phoenix, located in Istanbul. When directed at the sun at the perfect angle, it came to life and led Myratrix to the next clue to what is believed to be the Torah diamond. Ancient parchment: before the Hu Bird disappeared, it left behind a parchment that Myratrix and Camdor retrieved, and which led to the next jewel of the Corona. However, they could not figure out what the ancient symbols meant, and soon lost the parchment to the Rangers. Malta released a monstrous Tyzon to successfully retrieve the parchment, though Tyzon's resignation from Malta's army again put the item in the hands of the Rangers. Tyzon decoded it by pouring lemonade to lead the Rangers to the second jewel of the Corona Aurora. Yanomami statue: a mysterious, bronze-colored statue excavated in the Brazilian rainforest and given to the Rangers by the leader of an excavation team as a reward for the rescue thereof. When given to the Rangers, it gave off a jewel signature, suggesting that it had been exposed to a jewel of the Corona Aurora. The statue itself resembled a man holding a hammer and cannon in each of its hands. The face looked like the face on Mars, which Rose discovered had once pointed to a location in Mexico where the next artifact could be found. Canon of Key, a legendary blaster that was unearthed from under a mountain by the Farcats, only to be claimed by Tyzon and the Flashpoint Megazord. It exhibits the same jewel signature as the Yanomami statue. By loading Jolnir into the cannon's barrel, the Rangers and Thor, the god of thunder, were able to recover the next artifact, which was encased in hard rock. MJA paragraph LLNIR, the legendary hammer of Thor, the Norse god of thunder. The Rangers raced Malta in an effort to retrieve the treasure while in Norway. Although Malta obtained it first, the Rangers were able to take it from him. The hammer had the ability to increase an item to incredible size when used, and also had a connection to the Canon of Key. Neither the hammer nor the cannon was powerful enough to destroy the rock which encased the next artifact on the Rangers' quest. But by combining the two weapons, the Rangers successfully recovered it. The artifact was immediately stolen by Malta. Unlike the myth-historical Mjolnir, this version produces blasts of sheer force when brandished by Thor and directed at an enemy. Piedra Aztec del Campa S. The combination of the Canon of Key and Mjolnir was powerful enough to destroy the stone in which this ancient compass was entombed. After the Rangers discovered it, Malta intercepted the Rangers and stole the artifact. He gave the compass to one of his minions, who was able to use its power to manipulate Key and Lee energies in order to cause Mac nothing but bad luck. Mac overcame the influence of the compass and in turn used it against the monster, allowing it to be destroyed. The Rangers then used the compass to lead them to the location of the third jewel of the corona. Super armor. Malta gave the Farcats a map to find powerful samurai armor that would make them invincible in exchange for their promise to destroy the Rangers. The Farcats used the armor on their new giant robot and quickly proved to be too strong for the Drive Max and Flashpoint Megazords. The Rangers implemented several Megazord formations, attempting to overpower the Farcats, finally ripping the armor off of the robot using the Drive Max Megazord crane formation. The Rangers took the armor and were then able to easily destroy the Farcats robot. Excelsior, a sword belonging to the goddess of war. Thrax sought it out as it was the only weapon capable of destroying the Sentinel Knight. Mac found the sword first, but in doing so led Thrax to it. After failing to remove it from the statue of the goddess, Thrax fled to continue his destruction of the world. The Rangers attempted to retrieve the sword themselves, but could not and chose to leave. Max stayed behind, inspiring the others to do the same and causing the statue to awaken and grant the Rangers ownership of the sword. Mac gave the sword to the Sentinel Knight, restoring his powers and returning him to his true form. From then on, the Sentinel Knight could transform into this sword, and could be wielded by either Mac or Drive Max Megazord. Centurion Torch. The Farcats sought the Centurion Torch, hoping to harness its power to set the world on fire. They found the torch and used it to empower their new robot, with which they fought the Rangers. The robot was destroyed by the Drive Max Ultrazord, allowing the Rangers to take possession of the torch. Golden Scarab Beetle. Andra discovered a compartment in the torch that held a rare golden scarab encased in amber, leading the Rangers to Egypt, where they found that the scarabs are rumored to be found deep underneath the desert sand. Tablet. While in Egypt's desert searching for the source of the signals they were receiving, the Rangers encountered Camdor and Myratrix in an underground chamber, and fought the two for a hieroglyphic-covered tablet they were trying to take. The Rangers successfully managed to get the tablet from them after a short fight, and teleported it back to their base. Octavian Chalice. The Farcats managed to find this artifact after an extended search for it, during which they distracted the Rangers with the help of a third Farcat who was previously thought to be dead. The chalice acts as a receptacle that synthesizes the energy of other relics. After losing in battle against the Rangers, the Farcats stated that the chalice had more than one use. The Rangers then destroyed the Farcats and took possession of it so they could decipher its other uses. The chalice led the Rangers to Greece, where they invoked it in a ceremony to give guidance in finding the last jewel. Myratrix interrupted them and used the power of the chalice to turn into a supernaturally powerful, bird-like monster form. Sands of Scylla, Minerva's staff, and the root of Hiasca, three relics retrieved by Furious, Malta, Camdor, and Myratrix, but all stolen by the Farcats. Once placed inside the Octavian Chalice, the energy of these three items was merged to create the legendary Beastarios. Golden Plate. After Myratrix's separation from the Octavian Chalice, the chalice answered the Rangers' question, finding the final jewel by turning into a golden plate, the discovery of which sent them back to Egypt. There they found an Anubis statue, which when the plate was placed in its hands, opened a secret passage to a sealed stone sarcophagus which held a golden coin. The Rangers attempted to open it, but discovered that they needed a key to do so. Tri-Dragon Key, the Rangers traced the key needed to open the sarcophagus to Japan, where they were met by Malta and one of his minions. After engaging in battle, Malta approached the key and tried to take it. The key burrowed into the earth and out of sight. Both the Rangers and Malta tracked it to a waterfall, where they again engaged in battle. The key emerged from the water and moved toward Malta, but was intercepted by the Black Ranger, allowing the Rangers to return to Egypt and open the sarcophagus. Golden Medallion. When the Rangers opened the sealed sarcophagus, they found nothing but the coin inside. When they presented it to Andrew, he recognized it as matching an indentation on the sarcophagus of a mummy which he had been given as a gift years earlier. When the coin was placed in the indentation and came into close contact with the 3 corona jewels in the Rangers' possession, it brought the mummy to life. The mummy gave the Rangers the 5th jewel of the corona before it was blasted by an army of invading Cholos. Compass of Keats, a treasure only featured in Power Rangers, Super Legends. The Overdrive Rangers use it to detect errant time crystals. Corona jewels the 5 jewels were scattered around the world and have taken on new gem forms. When they are brought to the corona, they revert to their original, diamond-shaped form. Brownbeard's Pearl. When the Eye of the Sea did not fit on the hilt of the sword of Neptune, the Rangers gave it to Brownbeard. In exchange, he gave them his lucky pearl, which fit the sword and was therefore revealed as the first jewel to the corona Aurora. The gem's original form is the black corona jewel. Toru Diamond, the ancient parchment revealed the location of the second jewel within a volcano. Mac and Tyson flew into the volcano using the sonic streaker. Tyson's scales protected him from the heat of the lava, allowing him to descend on a rope and retrieve the diamond. The power of the 2 jewels was enough to transform Tyson into his Mercurian form. The gem's original form is the yellow corona jewel. Blue Sapphire, an ancient compass showed the Rangers the way to the 3rd jewel, which was hidden underwater, whence Will, Dax, and Ronnie retrieved it. Will was given the duty of delivering it to Hartford, but was attacked by Miratrix and Camdor, and the Sapphire was stolen. To keep the Rangers busy while he searched for the final jewel, Camdor used the gem's power to create a meteorite that nearly destroyed Earth. While Camdor was battling the Rangers, Norg discovered the Sapphire in the ninja's lair and then presented it to Furious. Furious then used the Sapphire's power to destroy Malta's lair. The gem's original form is the blue corona jewel. Star of Isis, the Egyptian tablets' hieroglyphics translated into a code that led straight to the 4th jewel, hidden in the Floridan Everglades. By sneaking a computer virus into the Rangers' base, Camdor and Miratrix were able to get to the location first. The Rangers nevertheless arrived, and the 2 groups battled fiercely for possession of the jewel, resulting in Max having to become the Red Sentinel Ranger in order to successfully defeat their enemies. Camdor and Miratrix attempted to leave with the jewel in hand, but Ronnie was able to use her superhuman speed to snatch it from Camdor's hands right as they were leaving. The gem's original form is the red corona jewel. Pink Emerald, the 5th jewel was given to the Rangers by the mummy before the creature vanished. The jewel was kept inside of a special box, which blocked the jewel signature from being detected by the Rangers' trackers. The gem's original form is the pink corona jewel. References. External links: Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, Blue Sapphire Volume 3, Power Rangers Operation Overdrive at the Internet Movie Database.